Man don't understand their power at the moment. So we're letting them lead. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the worst.
and they're letting us lead without their guidance. But sometimes their guidance is from a colonial place.
Well, yeah, of course.
You know?
Yeah.
And we need to be able to stand on business and say, baby girl, I love you, but we don't do Valentine's Day. We ain't putting up no Christmas tree and doing all these foolish things because that's nothing to do with us.
Yeah.
And the more we do that, bro, I'll be real with you. The more we'll move towards a better Africa.
Protect black. I'm liking it, you know?
You know?
You've been hitting the gym hard, you know? I'm seeing the gains, man. I'm seeing them.
I give thanks.
Ah.
Yeah, so we gotta get on that, man. We gotta get on that. Wait. Alright, cool. So today, mental health.
Mental health, yeah? Okay. So you've got quite a lot of people coming in to do mental health stuff, you know?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Speaking of that, actually, we need to get back to a few people.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, they want us to shoot courses and rent out for the whole day and things like that.
Oh, right.
That's done.
Can I use the bathroom?
Bro, you're no longer a guest here, you know that.
That's why we're not going to squat and start going toilet, baby. Right.
So, where are you sitting today?
Somewhere where you're not doing a press up because I'm having that. Listen, the roof is disgusting.
Eh?
The roof is nasty. I lost my lash today. It ended up on my forehead. So I don't want no one to see the fact that I tried to get it back on.
Okay.
So where's the best spot to go?
I would say, okay, this is nice, but I'm just trying to think of congruency.
Yeah, we got to keep it yellow.
Yeah. Oh, let me show you.
Oh. My face look alright. I can't see. This one. I'm such an idiot trying to see my face in the camera. God, my ass looks enormous.
Messy.
Sorry, that bit is a bit hair.
Yes, I'm saying it's messy. It's just, I look, even like the regrowth, it's just mad.
So what do you want to do? Put it now? How do you get that in a bun?
No, I'm not in a bun. I could just put like 2 pieces back there. That
Which
better.
one? No.
Yeah,
just leave it out.
Oh,
Leave
sorry.
it out.
I'll leave it out then. Sure.
If you put the hair back in the front, so it's definitely going to reach.
No, I won't reach the front. No.
I mean, they're going to say, well, I didn't go nowhere. But I interlocked. I started interlocking.
You know what? I've interlocked twice.
Okay.
And then I didn't do it again.
Why not?
I don't like it.
Yeah, I had to. If I didn't do it, then my locks wouldn't stay in. Sorry, can I?
Oh, because of your hair's quite that different.
You're the main guy today.
You're the main guy, man. Yellow.
Yellow, innit? Simpsons gang.
I don't say that.
Okay. I just need you to have a look. Let me know.
Yeah.
Yeah? Is it good?
So, yeah. Was this filming already?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's not
We're doing the
recording.
madness. Okay, good.
It's not recording, but it is backing up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I didn't even hear that.
Me neither. I didn't manage to get water, but Is this?
Oh!
It was you.
Oh!
No, sorry, I didn't. You know what's mad? Actually, as I look right, I see it and thought, oh,
Well,
give
I
thanks.
got you.
So I just clean my hands a bit.
Yeah, it's fine, it's fine.
Just turn my phone off.
I've got time today.
You have?
Well, no, but yes. I mean, I've got time to just look after
The
our
basics.
guests. Our guests today.
Oh, thank you.
Sorry, I didn't even get a proper introduction.
You're going to get one in just a minute. I'm going to turn my phone off and be very respectful. I think I look okay. I just wanted to, bring a little bit of colour, a little pizzazz, and not come with the dry foot. It's easy done, when you're
It
watching,
is easy
and
done.
you look down, you're thinking,
Absolutely.
Let me do this. Because I know she usually takes up the label.
Yeah, we take a look. Yeah.
You keep your label on, so at least that way.
Well, mine's not from the fridge, so I'll know,
Okay.
and I'll keep mine here anyway. It's accessible. Junie, how we usually start, we not introduce ourselves, we just, welcome, hi, welcome back, blah, blah, blah. And then we sort of say, we ask the guest to speak about why they were brought on for this topic. So why?
that alone will take the whole of the hit.
You saying don't put it up in two little bunches or not? I'm just
Right,
keep it
no,
just so.
He wants 2 little bunches. And
No, I don't need it. No, if you think it's cool, I'll just leave it. Child, I don't business, I'm not.
Are you
too-
sure I look all right
I'm
without?
not. No, you look, of
Yes.
course, absolutely.
Fine, yeah. Are you comfortable?
I know, I'm comfortable.
There you go,
as
then.
long as I don't look crusty and you're telling me lies.
Crusty, well.
Shall I leave it just so, Junie, or what? I think I should leave it. I think I'm.
You want to leave it?
Huh? What do you feel like?
Listen, Callum, you're just Callum. If I could give you little Botox, this would be more important.
Are you recording yet?
These are laugh lines. It took years to get these.
I know you earned them, didn't you?
Yeah, I earned them.
You
I
earned them.
earned
That's
them.
what I tell
Definitely.
people.
Yeah, man, I never want to get rid of them.
Yeah.
I earned them. What's this now?
Sorry.
Let me try fix me. Cut my foot. So.
Yeah, because the camera will pick up. The camera's
yeah.
right there.
Yeah. And I don't want it looking right in my business.
Could I give you a bit more to the left?
That's to the
I
right.
should've used my roller.
That's to the left.
Damn.
To the right.
To your
Fluffy.
right.
Right, you're right, sorry. You're right, my left.
It's all right. We'll get it. I'm gonna put right and left on the back of my hand. Yeah. Right.
And remember the position of the mic. So it needs.
I just knocked it. And I've got a big voice. The room alone is, yeah.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I'm so excited for this.
Yeah, that one's fine for me.
And then I need to find my page. I did a little bit yesterday
Okay.
in between the meetings.
Yeah.
Your phone's on silent or alarms?
Do not disturb.
I've turned it off because I can't catch no more shame.
Just make sure mine on.
Mine's on do not
Mine's good.
disturb.
I will say, if we keep the bottles off the table,
Okay.
All right.
in shot.
Okay.
See, put yours back.
Back.
Tiny
I feel like I don't wanna drop
changes,
down there.
remarkable results.
We can, yeah.
You ready?
You
Yeah.
want to put this? I can put this one here.
Yes, yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, 100% better.
Thank you. You have to have a little laugh.
Yeah.
Make us all relax. Now, Callum, you look fine.
Thank you.
You look fine. You look fine.
Thank you. I'm getting my hair
I've
done.
got a Botox person now.
Thursday.
Can't see your ass.
No.
And then I'll tell you about making sure you drink the beetroot and the carrot juice with the ginger and the
I
turmeric.
just finished the beetroot juice.
Yeah, and it grows your hair. And then what
Oh.
you use, how you set your hair, steam it, make it grow, and then look
Okay.
yummy and pickle.
Yeah,
After
yeah,
you're
yeah.
not peacock.
I'm gonna get rid of this pillow.
Yeah.
I'm about to put. Sorry, to put in the box.
Right. So what I'm gonna do is scotch my little salsa curls right in here.
So,
Are you ready?
We have.
Remember, when you say I'm Sabrina,
You say Callum. I'm not even going to say your name. I say Sabrina, you say I'm Callum. And then...
say with my co-host, and then I'll say Callum.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, with the co-host.
Oh, so you're going to do a test now? It's going to test?
Yeah.
Yeah. We're good.
It's weird because I can't see you. I can just see your lip through the gap. Oh my God.
Oh, gosh.
I just want to make sure that you're happy with
The live.
Yeah.
And where it is, look at where the mic is as well, by your face,
Oh,
Sabrina.
yes, we look lovely. Oh, we need to take off these
Does
glasses.
this need to go down?
Why?
You think this needs to go down a bit? You tell me.
It's weird because I can't see you. I can just see your lip. No, but if he goes to front shot of Callum, then maybe it might be a problem. But this way it is now, it's fine.
No, I think because the front shot is here and it's to the right of me.
I'm going to ask, because you want a solo shot of
See
Callum.
my socks. Yeah, why not?
Because we have 2 cameras, you 2,
Yeah.
which is your standard.
Yeah.
But because I love you, I'm giving you extra one, but you don't want the.
I don't want to close up now because I look like a foot.
So,
Unmanicured foot.
Yourself. It's an option that's available.
You know,
You say yes.
Yeah, I'm easy. You know.
Say yes, please.
So
Yeah.
let me just show you
I don't want to close up now because I look like a foot.
Gosh.
Like a foot, you know. What is wrong with you?
Sorry. Sorry, do you want to spew this up?
Is it still recording?
Yeah,
I
but
was
it's delayed.
Stop it.
Oh, now my nose is starting to run. What the hell? You're right.
And
But it's natural, so if you need to get up and get something, go, you can do that.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that's fine. And will I be able to have any shots for my own?
Do you mean
For my
actual footage?
yeah.
Yeah, we can
course.
sort that out. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So at the end of it, before Callum kicks us out, we just take a photo of all of us.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah, we'll get something to you.
So I need a lone shot and a group shot.
Okay. Sure, definitely.
All of my shots have got people in. So I haven't got very few with just.
Yeah, no, we got to make sure we
So
get
I'm
that
learning.
then.
I'm learning that. Oh my gosh.
Cal.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm easy, man. Whatever you think.
So
it
I'll do
is.
my.
Love in the top. Oh, Lord. Love in the top.
Good thanks. Good thanks. I'm gonna start wearing black owned brands.
Yeah, I went to buy my boyfriend's thing the other day. He told me £65. I was like, I ain't buying your things.
£65. I thought
For
we were giving him
t-shirts.
promotion.
For a t-shirt?
How much?
£65 for a t-shirt.
Is it designer or something?
You would think so. No, comes from Peckham. Forget where you come from, but about £65. I was like, cool, I'll make it myself. We got a
Yeah.
cricket machine
I
in
see
our
some.
office.
I see someone with a T-shirt the other day, and I thought, oh, that looks dope. Googled it, tried my best. I eventually found it. The T-shirt was £2,000.
Sorry,
Yeah.
what was it, like gold laced or something?
No, it's Louis V or one of them.
Okay.
What do you mean okay?
It's Louis V. You say, so what the hell were you
Oh
expecting?
come on, man! There's no T-shirt in this world worth £2,000.
Well, evidently there is.
Nah,
You found it.
Nah, there's none. There's none. I'll take one pen and write on it for the same price, man. No, I get paying a little more for a better quality
Yeah.
thread because
Yeah,
you
yeah,
sweat
yeah.
less, it lasts longer. I
Yeah.
get, I'll pay more for certain things, but £2,000, man. Come on, that's madness.
Just before while we're getting prepped, is there anything in particular you want me to address, or just roll with it as you ask me the questions?
We're just going to roll with it and have a conversation. And the one thing I do want to address is, it's gone out of my bloody head. We spoke about yesterday, so just talking about yourself and what you do. And then, we can lean on
So
that
I'll
as well.
bring in you want me to bring in my 2 hats, my slam hat and my front room therapy hat.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
We are ready.
Yeah.
We are good to go. Give me a second. Camera and audio recording.
Am I on two side, or you want me more square back? Yeah, try fix it.
So we can put like if anything happens, we just put an emoji over that.
Now, I've got my foot set.
That's recording. That's recording now. Let me do 1, 2 claps. Okay. So,
This This bit always makes me laugh.
I know.
Here we go. We're good. You know, these days, I don't even stay in here. But
Go on
for
then.
you guys, I'm in here.
Okay. You can go though if you wanted to, if you felt you wanted to go out. It's up to you.
I'll stay. Sorry.
Okay.
I just don't want to make any noise. I don't want any noise to
But who does the cameras if you leave?
They're all recording, so they didn't edit it.
Oh, you do the editing afterwards, post editing. Oh,
The stuff
sorry.
that we're giving to you that you get to see.
Yeah.
That's like extra. That's like somebody being a producer.
Yeah.
But we're doing it because I'm training on cam. To be
I thought you done it as you done. I thought you done the camera as you. Oh, okay.
all afterwards, we're there.
It's all post. Oh,
Post,
okay.
cutting it up.
Can I be a bit cheeky? See my handbag there? I just want to double check I did turn off both phones. Because in the car,
Yeah,
innit,
it went off. I thought
after
it was my phone.
that person was trying to reach me. I thought I turned it off, but I don't want it to then be the phone that ring.
Yeah.
The other one is definitely off.
I'm tired, man.
It's alright.
Tell you something.
And it's some Irish must and linseed and true sunshine.
So because you lot like pulled me up last time, yeah. Apologies, yeah.
Pulled you up for what?
I would look.
Yeah. Anybody want any drinks?
No.
No, we're good.
No, we're good. We're good.
Sure.
Yes, babe, we're good. We're
Brandy
good.
and Coke, please.
No, he'll bring it, you know. He'll bring it, you know. He'll bring it.
Oh,
We've got cognac.
oh.
There's no Coke. I haven't gone to Sainsbury's yet. So
You want a straight?
grab something.
We might have lemonade.
I was gonna buy the little small ones.
I was trying.
I love our guests. They are on my wave.
You know what? That's what makes life go round.
Trust me.
Yeah.
Callum was like, no, guys, what are we doing?
Do you know, man?
You want some?
No,
Right.
I'm okay. Thank you.
I've really been good not to have any, but sometimes you could do with some. It's really coming for true.
Yeah, I think I joke.
Listen, look,
And I can see, brandy. Oh
What?
God, and a proper decanter.
don't
Oh
run.
my goodness. You're gonna get more than what you're bargaining for now.
Oh,
hey,
Lord.
hey, hey. You go, thank you. God bless the room. I won't have any more because I need to be on my best behavior.
Yeah.
So this is not in shot.
No, it's not in shot.
Yeah.
Let me bring this down just in
Thank you.
case.
Yeah, you can just. Yeah.
And
Is that okay?
This one, I'll put it closer to your feet.
Okay.
Ready?
Thank you.
Okay. Welcome back to Same Place, Worlds Apart. I'm Sabrina and my co-host.
I'm Callum.
And today we have Junie Mohammed, and I'm so excited for you to be on our sofa today. Today we're going to be talking about theme 5, mental health and well-being. So Junie, start it off. So why do you think you was asked to come on today? Why do you think you're on today?
Well, why was I asked to come on today? It's when it's coming to black mental health. That's my baby. That's my passion. That's what I have been driven by to make a difference to our community. One of the most important things is that the voices of our community haven't been heard. The system is the system. The system does what the system does. But to engage, better understanding of what the needs of our community are, how they will engage with services and engage with themselves and their own health is why I'm here today.
Excellent. So could you tell us a bit about yourself? Because obviously we can feel the passion.
You can feel it.
Yeah. But what's your background?
So my background is I am where do I start? When you
That's what
talk
I say
about
as
my
well.
background,
You
it's
can look at us,
huge.
you know. You can look at me and
Yeah. It's huge. My background. So really and truly, I have a community and youth work background. So it's always been about how do you engage and include the community across all the different issues that the community faces. But what happened was I then specialised in counselling and working in black mental health services. That for me was a really important step, moving from community education to community mental health education and advocacy. So then I've worked in, it's very rare to get a black specific mental health service in our borough of Lewisham. I've had the privilege to work in there. I've come through as a carer, setting up carers groups, the black mental health first carers group in the borough. Because when everybody just wants to lump you together and you're dealing with mental health, addressing the stigma and the issues that you face, it doesn't work when it's just a big generic group. Because people are talking from different places on that. So
I was gonna ask you to. You're touching it now, but like before, I don't want to jump forward too quickly. So the specificity of sort of working with black mental health and community mental health. Can you speak a little bit more? And maybe you was about to go into it, so I'm sorry if I cut you. But speak a little bit more on sort of why it's important to have that specificity.
Well, one of the real important things, particularly for Lewisham, before we had family health ISIS, we had no black specific provision. We had provisions like Mind, but there wasn't that level of cultural competence to connect with the community's fear and their stigma and this discrimination they were facing. So to have that dialogue around not waiting until it's a crisis, you know, the last moment, but being able to have an organisation that can engage you and your family, be it your spouse, be it your children, be it your neighbour. We needed to have that because that conversation was missing. There was lots of fear about our community and how to talk about us. So they labelled the black community as hard to reach. But we weren't hard to reach. There was just no in reach because the pathways were not appropriate to reach them. So we petitioned actually for a black specific organisation. We had to go all the way to Brixton to access any mental health provision, all the way from Lewisham.
Yeah, wow.
So Errol Francis and the team, the African Caribbean Association, was the only provision we had. So we did petition and we did get that service, and we had to come a long way. So that's why when you ask, why is it important? It's because you need people that understand, you know, your little idiosyncrasies, the way that we speak. You know, we gesticulate like I'm gesticulating. You know, our voice goes up and down as we feel excited or when we get passionate or when we're in pain. Sometimes even when we're in pain, we might smile. Yeah? But we understand certain parts of our language where we might use terms that might be trigger words, no words from a Eurocentric lens, but it's natural within our context and our cultural domain. Not to say all of us are the same, because we're not a homogeneous group as black people, but there is a shared language that is quite common. And I think that's my answer to that question. So in terms of why it's important and where I'm coming from is that I grew into this organisation. I did a lot of advocacy work with families. And in families, there may be more than one person with a mental health problem or illness in that family. So it was about empowering those families to engage with services, but to also look at what will work for them. So it was connecting with them where often people had lost connection with mainstream services. They just dropped out. You know that term when they say, yo, you've fallen through the net? Well, there must have been some big hole in this net. You know, it's that type of thing. So I've enjoyed advocacy and appreciating if you do certain things for our community, how it lifts off the stress and the pressure that they feel. One, that they're being heard, but they're making movement to solve that problem. That's stressing them out. So I felt advocacy work, and then I also ran women's groups. I was an assertive outreach team leader, so that means I was introduced to working with South London and Maudsley from the voluntary sector, but working in partnership for people who were disengaged with mainstream services. And we then used our technique of assertive outreach model, even if I had to go betting shop, go look for you down the market, find ways to approach you, even the way I approach your home, to get you to answer the door. And our model is actually in a document. Family Health ISIS is its model, and it showed that our techniques worked effectively more than the public sector statutory approach. So that was really powerful, being a part of that, but also being able to influence psychiatrists around how to, why do that intervention? They're actually telling you this. So, kind of mediating the voice that person can have better outcomes. So being able to do that and work with them and measure the outcomes was powerful. It's a real landmark for us, and being a part of a project that did a lot of research around black mental health, particularly around black men, but also we were a part of antipsychotic type medications. Within 5 years of our people being on these medications, they then would develop conditions like diabetes and high blood pressure and other types of chronic disorders within 5 years of being on these medications. So
could you tell us more about Family ISIS?
Family Health ISIS was a specific, when it was a black organisation working with the black community, black Caribbean and black African people in the borough of Lewisham. It was a borough-wide project looking from mild to severe and enduring mental health. So there were a number of people who may not have had a mental illness or a diagnosis, had been nowhere near mental health services, but when they felt stressed out and not listened to, we could engage them early enough. So Family Health ISIS dealt with carers. It also offered counselling service, a profound counselling service, when black people wasn't offered no talking therapy. So they were the trailblazers for ensuring black communities had effective interventions that was less likely to be offered to them by mainstream services, and that still remains the case. So that's the type of service.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get into what the Blaché report is saying around the mental health and well-being. So looking at the key findings, I think because I was part of this report, but when you see the findings actually in print, it's so upsetting.
Yes.
And because my background's in teaching, and when you look at trying to get young black students into the pathway of CAMS or getting support, they're underrepresented. But then when it comes to detentions, when they're adults, we're overrepresented. Like, what's happening? Is it what can we do as a community to help that? Because obviously we know that there's difficulties getting into the right therapies through the NHS, but what could we do? So I'll read one. So detentions under the Mental Health Act, black people are 4 times more likely to be detained.
Absolutely. But I still need to carry on that point to make sure we are very clear that CAMS in itself nationally has always had overrepresentation of white population, young people in its service. That's a national, regardless if the white population is not the majority population. They always have more white children and young people accessing CAMS services. So there is something about the criteria of what is the purpose of CAMS? What does it do? Why does it do it? What is it commissioned to do? And I think a lot of people have been, they're misunderstanding its purpose and where that commissioning criteria comes from and what the outcomes need to be. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing on that point is that when it comes to black children and young people getting a referral, the way that is described often doesn't fit into the criteria of CAMS. So we need to really appreciate that.
Yeah.
And when it does, it's not to say that our children don't get a good service once they get to access it. They really do their best. However, when it comes to 4 times being then detained by the time you get to being an adult, what happens is that they have a measure when you're 15 years old. They are testing to see if you're likely to develop a psychotic disorder. So there isn't a measure to say what will improve your mental health or what can we do to intervene before
It gets to that stage.
you get into really poor mental health. So they have this measure and you think, well, is this measure to tell you how much people then to expect by the time they're adults? And so these are some of the big questions when you read the annual reporting and the data analysis, the way the data is even collected. So it's not that the service doesn't know that you can have the referrals, but how many of those children and young people are likely that referral to turn into being seen as a case?
Yeah.
You see, we need to really start to break it down, and that's another show. I'm very, very serious. It's another show.
Yeah.
Data collection and ethnicity, just even being measured by, where they say likely than white and black sets a whole precedence up in people's thinking about this. So what happens is, they already know the likelihood of how many children are likely to come into services by adulthood. And you have to remember that young people's services, there's a little bit of a grey area when you get to 15. So the ages of 15 to 17 is like a grey area. Before you get into adult services at 18. And so we're not looking at there's a little bit of fragmentation there. And we need to be looking at what services are we accessing at CAMS? Are we getting the detox services from misuse of illicit drugs? Are we being what's the word when they want to rehabilitate you from when you go down to somewhere like the yacht, young people's what they call them, youth offending teams. You will find if you got 8 boys, 7 of them will be black boys and 1 white boy, for example. But what are you doing any differently, knowing at that point that's disproportionate representation? Why is that happening? Who are you working with to erect those barriers to crime? You're waiting for them to get to your services, so they've been diverted already from the police station and from the courts. So they're already in the system, so they're being engaged in CAMS as a criminal. They're not being engaged in CAMS for having poor mental health or a vulnerable child in need. You need to understand this. So they're not getting the same type of services as the other children. So we're ignoring the index of multiple deprivation that these children are experiencing, because by the time you speak to them, or the young people I've spoken to, so what happened? How did you end up here? Miss, we didn't have any electric and I wasn't sure what we were going to eat. Who's hearing that? Or can't we hear that from a child? See, so if you've already got a view of these children, you're not actually hearing them. They're telling you the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
They might not have made the right choices in the types of crimes that they've committed to get resources. But nobody's doing anything really about that. So then they get to adulthood. Boom. They're in the system one way or another because they've been failed. How much
does this tie into sort of, because we're talking about sort of public health, and we're talking about prevention here, about how much does this tie into our perception of or public health's perception of the diaspora, so the black community?
Oh, that's a lovely question.
So if we're talking about prevention, we're talking about sort of earlier interventions. If we're not able to see that there's a problem, because of our perception of maybe black boys, for example, as opposed to their maybe white counterparts, how much does that play a part, and what role does perception play in these early interventions?
Perception is everything. That's my first response to that. I have been promoting mental health in our communities across the Southeast for over 20 years. I've done that for South London and Maudsley for 20 odd years. And one of the things about population or public health, mental health promotion is that it is really focused on engaging people at higher risk of poor mental health, for those wider determinants of health that you spoke about. So those children at risk of, because of poverty, because of not maybe accessing after school provision, there may be different things going on at home. All the different things that cause our children to be more impacted. That's often ignored. The response, so there is no proper research and investment in prevention interventions for neither our young people or adults. So that's what my excitement was of doing a paper, a policy paper, looking at, well, what policies influence and promote good mental health, say for African Caribbean males who more likely to end up in being detained on section. It's the worst use of interventions in terms of the mental health system. And who's actually listening to them? Are you listening to their health, physical health as a teenager? What has been done as young, adolescents and young males? What have you done? What can the borough tell me? What investment they have made in these young people's health? It's not that they don't know the data on the health outcomes, but there's been no intervention. So the only males have got a little bit on blood pressure and a tiny bit on prostate cancer. But that means you're engaging the men that are slightly older. So you keep waiting for people to get there.
Exactly.
But there are no other types of investment to promote good mental health. It's measured from ill health. So everything, when you talk about public mental health, is from a deficit lens. It's from illness. How can you measure somebody who is not actually mentally ill, but you want to measure their well-being from a measurement from illness. But that's how it is. So they're getting their data from academia. And when you look at academia, especially in Europe, they have got these set measures that they use.
They do, yeah.
So the type of racism and inequality and inequity of funding proper research. So, for example, if you have got an effective program, the communities are less likely to have any formal funding money to evaluate that program, for it to then be seen as a credible program and what is good. So the first thing public health said, so what does good look like? Well, good looks like the people that are working and engaging those people are making a difference in their life. But because there's been no formal funding for evaluation, they're not even considered. So it's only the projects, often on a national level, or they're there to collect data for policies, national policies and politics, is funding given. So people often don't look at what is the purpose of the funding of a research.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers you
Yeah,
from
it
a public health perspective.
It answers it perfectly.
And just quickly to say, so what happens is that we might fund something like a violence reduction, but not having the balance to say, oh, I want to reduce the violence of these children and young people, so we know that they're more likely to be excluded from school or suffer internal exclusions, But then, what happens to the positive work?
Exactly.
So it then becomes a policing exercise and tracking exercise, and not about promoting their well-being, making sure they get a good school experience, that they don't get a criminal record, that they too, get mentors. Come on.
Absolutely.
Does that help?
And
that's a public health model, unfortunately, but it's not always delivered in, what do you call it, with balance.
Yeah.
It's responding to a political local need that people are in fear of their lives because of the violence on the street, as opposed to these young, vulnerable men, black and white boys. They're very vulnerable. And their children.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, that's not the priority. The priority is the taxpayer who says that they're scared. And it becomes about safety.
Yeah, and they never make that link, which is really strange.
No, they make the link. They make the link, but they don't. That's their priority. Yeah. So I've been a part of those boards. I say it plain.
Yep. We want you to be honest. Yes. Transparency.
I just wanted to, for the purpose of sort of the audience,
actually
speak about some of the key findings from the report.
Yeah.
So he spoke about black people 4 times more likely to be detained than white people under the Mental Health Act.
Yeah.
There's emotional and mental health treatment rates in the UK are 6.5% for black people, 14.5% for white people. Black Caribbean mental health services Black Caribbeans are 3 times more likely to have had contact with mental health services in the year before suicide.
Yep.
And the last one, which I found like really interesting, which we haven't massively touched on, which is black women are 29%. 29% of black women experienced a common mental disorder in the past week while this report was conducted.
Absolutely. There's these findings are, we need to take them also with a pinch of salt because of the type of data collection available.
Yes.
So for some data, they can break it down whether you're Black Caribbean, Black African. Some data, you're just all grouped together and they can't distill it down. Yeah? And different places collect different information. So take it with a pinch of salt, because some of these are a lot higher. And it's not just being detained 4 times more than white. it is the type of section, it is the type of impact, how long you are in there, and how that affects your life and recovery. So that bit is not really being talked about. And the type of diagnosis, you are 13 times more likely to get a diagnosis of schizophrenia, to make people really frightened of you now. That is not really what's been broken down in that highlight data. So I'm just saying, take it with a pinch of salt.
Absolutely.
But I'll quickly get to this one about treatment. If the where the black community is less likely to access services or less likely to access services early, they have no choice. So when they do try to go to their GP to get early intervention, they're not always understood or heard. There's this myth that we don't go to the GP. We go to the GP. But what is it that they hear and see? And how is that translated? And so often the people that end up in the services are in a real bad way. They really are. But what is offered to them, when you talked about perception, how they're seen, and what might work for you, until as a community we get the language of how to express what's going on for us, people can feel they're being done to, as opposed to being worked with. We talk about expert patient, but all of a sudden you're not no expert. And if you say I don't want something or I don't like that, they use the term non-compliant. Yes,
I'm going to touch on that.
Non-compliant, and you have no insight. And so, this is now what's going to happen to you. So when we do, so because it's like, oh, what else could we do? It becomes very limited at crisis point. And very often, even when we go early, it's still a lottery code. Who hears you and what they understand? So I just kind of wanted to just raise that. And you know what? Stigma. We have to talk about when you are receiving treatment and the real backstory is here. They are detaining people to treat them. That is the highlight. That's not on the page. That's what's actually alarming as an equality agenda, that we shouldn't have to be detaining people to treat them. And nobody's doing anything about that agenda. So we have to remember that these differences are not uncommon. And also, a lot of our families, once they know you've gone into a mental health institution, and they're not going nowhere near there, and they're frightened to death, and they don't care what you got to say, they're not going. Or sometimes we can actually blame somebody that's become unwell that they did it to themselves. That's not peculiar to our communities. I'm just saying that these are some of the types of stigma that are external stigma and internal types of stigma. What we say to ourselves and about ourselves. So we need to look at treatment and perception. What is going to be offered to you? What types of medication? Because that's where inequality also is. And I'm trying to go through all the findings.
I know. I was going to add in on that one because this theme is really close to my heart because I myself have gone through the system and had a really bad mental health breakdown. And because I didn't want to take the drugs, I didn't want to do this, I was down as non-compliant. So then once you're down as that, to get through to the next door, they're not trying to talk to you. They're not trying to listen to you. And I spoke about, I think it was the pilot, when one of my psychiatrists, who was a black person, said to me, do you think I'm struggling because I'm a type of mongrel because I've come from a dual heritage. And because I was, at the time, I said, yes, I'll take the medication because things got really bad. I was so high that I thought, did he really say this? And it wasn't until after then my husband made a complaint and my mum helped out with the complaint. But I'm someone that, again, maybe it's wrong to think like this. I come from a professional background. I've got my degree, I've got my family. I've come to get help and this is how you're treating me. And one thing that doesn't show in this is about CTOs, so care treatment orders. The amount of our young black people on those things, and it's like another crutch, like a prison sentence. You've got to go somewhere to get your depot, and it's horrendous. And it really, so reading this really broke my heart because I feel like there was a lot of missed opportunities for action as well. And when you speak on stigma, one thing that my company was trying to do was do mental health training in the churches. And when we did that, the amount of things that came out of that training, that how we think and how the pastors were thinking. So when they think about mental health, a lot of them, not all of them, were saying like it's a spiritual thing. And so I used to always say, well, lots of you lot in this room got glasses on. You identified that you couldn't see properly. You've gone to your opticians. Why can't you see your mental health as the same thing? And that's when the room went quiet.
Absolutely.
So I feel like us as a community need to break down those barriers and those stigmas and allow it to be okay that we can talk about mental health.
Yes.
And have those open conversations, whatever they look like. Like you said, we are loud. We're a loud group of people. So if it means the person needs to shout and holler, allow them that space to be like that.
But I think you see what we need to understand is the environment we're in. Just to even move while I'm speaking, people want you contained and still. Otherwise, something's wrong here. And I'm thinking, I'm going to talk to you with my eyes, my whole body, and my voice. And good luck to you, really, what you want to think about that, because you want me to not be myself, but you're allowed to be yourself. So we need to understand there's very strong influences about beliefs. And I've worked with faith communities. I was just looking at something from 2003 in the office this week. Yeah, I've got pictures. This dialogue is a very important dialogue because a lot of our communities are a part of faith groups. And we have to take people on a journey, not just expect them to arrive. When it's deeply embedded.
Absolutely.
Whether you're Italian, because they gesticulate as much as I do, and they get very animated, you know, and our voice goes up. And next minute when our voice goes up, can you imagine somebody go, ew, I felt attacked. And I'm thinking, what's wrong with you? When you talk straight, you're attacking me. But you think because your voice didn't change, you know, your passive aggressive is just as disgusting as whether you feel me talking straight to you is a problem. And I think it's about what people prefer as social norms.
Yes, absolutely.
That influence is very great. Because you have to remember, people don't even want to be called black. So you're dealing with a lot of different things because why you want to know if I'm black and where I come from. Everybody becomes very suspicious because of the misuse of information. When we give it to you, what do you do with it? Have you taken our information and done right by the majority of the population and their children? So in this borough alone, for over 30 years, they have got evidence of not necessarily having really good outcomes for the education or the well-being of black communities and their children. They haven't got any report that can show that. But yet, whose priority is it to want to change that? It's our priority. We're saying we pay council tax too. We are valued members of society. We're in democracy and we're contributing. So why shouldn't we expect to have better well-being and equitable investment in our health and our children's health and my mum's health? We've been here, we've worked here and grown this community. So why shouldn't we? So all of a sudden, you notice the data will change to make it sound less than what it is. Yeah. So you have to understand, as I said to you another time, for about data, because I can talk.
Well, sorry, I kind of cut you when you was talking. So did you want to go through any more of the themes, and we'll look at the opportunities for action after?
Well, so just really quickly, I mean, we haven't really spoken about suicide and the amount of the community having suicidal thoughts and taken their lives, whether they've taken their lives in our police cells. We've got, is it the largest police station in Europe, I believe?
Yeah.
I don't know if
It
it's
was
still.
back
It
then.
was at one
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
the largest
Yeah.
in Europe. Yeah.
We've got our experiences of having people, the police jump out after you, and you're profiled every day, whether you are professional, young person, doesn't matter how you dress. That is quite traumatic for a lot of people, and they feel away. But when it comes to suicide, we're not talking about it. So how are people actually dying is not being discussed or broken down. It's the criminal element is the priority topic, and suicide is, we're not educating. So when we do mental health first aid and we have the whole module on suicide prevention, or we're getting people to talk about it or attend free training, we always include it. But when you speak to a lot of people, they have lost a loved one to suicide, and they look like me. Yeah, they've lost them in the prisons, they lost them in the police cells, they've lost them in their own homes, and they've lost them in open spaces. Yeah, so we need to understand that when they're talking about stigma, people have every right to be frightened to talk about mental health, because the outcome that you're going to get the help that you need, that you're going to be heard, listened to, or understood is so unlikely. Yeah? That is the vicious cycle until not just us as the community, we can engage with the language or go with our young people or our spouse to get help. But what happens when you get there? Have you heard those stories? I've heard those stories of people feeling not heard, not understood, and not respected. And it's just a one-way, it wasn't like a two-way process, and that they all of a sudden, so what do you know?
Yeah.
There's a power, what do you call it? Like a imbalance.
Yeah. Like a high
When you go for help, when you articulate what you think is going on, all of a sudden somebody wants to put different words in your mouth. To, even for myself, why are you using a different word than what I've asked to be used? Because words have weight, and what that then remunerates for the status quo, there's a lot of fear in free expression. So this whole thing around suicide is a hidden agenda that is not properly addressed of what is happening and how people are dying and who are dying, men and women. So being a part of Family Health ISIS, I had to deal with suicide, completed suicide. They died by suicide. It was awful. And majority is still men, young men and older men. And nobody's not really talking about it. So this needs unpacking. And how and who is talking to our communities about mental health and well-being. And then lastly, I need to put my glasses back on now, my glamorous glasses. 29% of mental disorder in black women in the past week. And that's the ones that's recorded. You have to remember, the amount of pressure the black woman is facing is not being, again, properly understood. Data is collected about the index of multiple deprivation. So that's about housing, education, levels of income coming into the house, whether you're in appropriate accommodation or is it overcrowded? Are you on permanent contracts or zero contracts where you can't even afford to go to a meeting because you won't have enough money? And you're more likely to be abused by your employer because of your position. Yeah? And that in itself creates insecurity and instability and being accused of being a poor parent, and now you need parenting classes and you're not in control of your children, and why are you just making them have the £3.50 chicken and chips? You're not dealing with the issue. They skate over it, yet in every ward in the borough they have got the data on the index of multiple deprivation and what they call super output areas, where, when you had the children's centre, they were put in places where they were the worst poverty in the borough. But how did we talk to people? How did we engage them? Did you make them feel that they could come along and their lives would be improved? Or did we make them feel, you are the underclass? So what value did we place? So I'm talking to you straight, that people sense how they're being spoken to. They sense in 8 seconds whether they're even going to talk to you.
Yeah.
So sometimes they say, oh, we gave them an appointment, but they didn't turn up. After the first time, they're not coming back because you can't offer them anything that they will value because they did not feel valued, and you didn't make that contact count for them. It became about your service priority or your individual priority. It wasn't making them what they call person-centered approach. It's just something on paper. What does that mean in practice? Oh, sorry.
I know.
I could just sit here and listen all day. Like, I'm just sitting here.
At one point, I looked over like, I need a tissue. I'm going to start crying. Like, it's an emotive topic. It really, really is. And
It is. Touching on something that you touched on earlier, really briefly. I remember when I used to run Discussion Thursday and we done the mental health one. And we spoke about, it's a really, really busy room. I think we had over 30 people in the room. And we done sort of a poll. So the question was I can't remember, this is verbatim. Is it better to sort of code switch when you're at work, or do you just be yourself? And how much does that impact on your mental health? And the room was completely torn.
really,
Completely torn.
What was the data? 'Cause I know what I.
I think it was completely torn. So like half the room was like really strong on you. Like I have to code switch. I can't be myself. And if I am myself, I feel in danger. And the other side was like, well, the second we be ourselves, you'll be respected, and the respect will reestablish that mental health. Like, it was such a tall room. We spoke about it for a good 3 hours. I don't think we broke for a break, but just sort of going back to sort of, and you did touch on it. So I don't know if this is a question per se.
I think, but that's the point that you're making, right there, is identity. And mental health
is key.
Is very important, because how you perceive yourself in your environment, in society, how people react to you. So I don't remember. I don't know if you remember the script with Little Miss Jocelyn.
Yeah.
And she's the only black person.
Nobody knows I'm black.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's like all of a sudden she's thinking, there's going to be 2 black people. I don't want to be that visible. Because when there was one, there's no threat. But now there's going to be 2. All of a sudden they're going to notice. And so this is a real issue. What's the lady from America? Jane Elliott.
Yeah, Jane Elliott.
And when she's asking about identity, and she speaks to the tall white guy, and she says, "Do you have to think about being white?" And he said no. But when she asked the black woman if she had to think about being black, she did. And so our experience of it. So when we start talking about, is it white fragility, and all these different terms that have come out to talk about white superiority and difference, it's very interesting that we're left now with unconscious bias. And there's not an intention. Now we've got to embed anti-racism strategies. And all of a sudden, we need white allies. So we're in a very interesting climate. And I will share this with you before I know you wanted to make the point, but I heard this term, environmental racism. So it's not just about structural and institutional and racism. There's environmental racism, that the outcome for people living in those areas. Imagine. So when decisions are being made based on your postcode, it is not just about gang warfare on the street. It is gang warfare of decision makers. See,
I got a you know, I won't call his name on
Like
here
to say
actually.
girl.
You might not know
no
his
names,
name.
no
But you know him very well. But he's a clinical psychologist.
Yes.
And I spoke to him about sort of anxiety and sort of what that looks like in our community and blah blah blah. And his response was like, Callum, don't you think that's a very rational and reasonable response to a racist environment though? And it just completely changed my perspective. It's like so true. It was like, yeah, if we understand the factors, we're talking about the different types of racism and how it impacts every single part of your life. It's very reasonable to respond in a particular way.
Yeah.
And like it just changed my entire perspective, and that was just the 2 pence I wanted to add to that.
Yeah, and it's very important because our communities are experiencing very high levels of anxiety and depression. And some are verbalized, but those children are going home to parents who are not well. But what a lot of parents don't understand, your child is affected by you.
Yes, 100%.
Our children feel our stress and they act it out. So it's really important when we get onto this point of, was it opportunities in our communities? We need to have opportunities that are realistic. Because the more we could have conversations like this with a studio audience, with our community, that can begin to make a change.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, because they're frightened for themselves and their children. Yes. And nobody wants to feel embarrassed. Do you know we're embarrassed about it? Because we're not allowed to have a normal response. And that's the point the clinician was making. Our normal response becomes, that was very aggressive. That was inappropriate. Yeah. And all of a sudden, that response is not received as a normal response. So people don't speak. They suck it up until they break.
Yeah.
So I did something for DWP, Department for Works and Pensions. I had to think about that. And it was mental health and employment. That conference was packed. And guess who it was packed with?
Not us.
It was packed with us.
Was it us? Fantastic.
Excellent.
Where people felt they had some really negative experiences at work.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Imagine that.
Yeah. And how they felt about themselves being looked over and circumvented and not getting promotions and well-paid jobs.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I started to talk about mental health, just the way we're talking, I felt if I was a psychiatrist, a consultant, I would have had a queue from here to Oxford Circus. because we have to find a way for people to feel safe and normal. And I'm picking up on the point. Do we actually feel normal?
That's a big question.
Do we feel normal? Yeah?
That's a big question.
So it's only when people start talking, oh, how well did you sleep last night? What's going on? Oh, yeah, and me too. Then they realise, actually, I'm not the only one feeling like this. But because we've had to be in the closet with how we feel, it's not good to have like emotional intelligence. Don't let people know what you're thinking or feeling, because next minute your home will be divided. You might lose your children. Yeah? And you can lose your profession.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Right.
Is that a lot?
No. It's just, well, yeah, because it's kind of opened me up to ask more questions. But
trust
I
me.
just seen the clock. So I think, we're just going to look at the opportunities for action and then try and sum it up as quick as we can, so we don't lose the essence of it. So what we usually do is read it out. So I don't know if you want to help with the reading or Callum. But I don't know. Starting first.
You carry on. I've spoken a lot.
Yeah. So there's 5 opportunities for action for this theme 5. So one of them is co-produce awareness campaigns for Black communities to promote better understanding of different mental illnesses, facilitate early interventions and self-referral in collaboration with carers, families, health services, community and faith centres. And then number 2 is ensure practitioners use culturally competent cultural understanding, trauma-informed, patient-centred engagement styles and interventions.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah, definitely. And then the third one, ensure mental health workers acknowledge service users' personal histories of racism and recognise them as trauma to enable more effective intervention. Hear you breathing.
The one. Could I just add something to that?
Go.
And I maintain this all the time, and I think people probably think I bang on about race a lot, but race equality is one of my topics that I speak about a lot. I like this. This is a recurring theme in the opportunities for action.
Yeah.
But the main takeaway from this would be that personal histories of racism is that alone doesn't quantify racism. It doesn't actually acknowledge the fact that that racism is a system that every single Black person on the face of planet Earth experiences. There's not one that doesn't experience it. So just because someone's able to say, well, I had this experience, it doesn't deduce from the fact that there's others who have had those experiences or who have had a life of those experiences. And this is why I like reports, because reports always validate the fact that we're in a system that ultimately isn't designed for us. And it validates the work, because when you do the work to make an equitable system, you need reports to back it up. So that's why I love reports, but we need to establish what racism is as a system, as opposed to sort of these individual personal experiences, because as much as they're both valid, we can't use one and juxtapose it to the other and act like one is just like, this is your experience, when naturally we've all had it.
I can feel you trying to come in. Let me just finish. There's 2 more opportunities. But hold it. Remember what you're going to say. Promote cultural competencies. Oh my gosh. Cultural competency training within healthcare services, the criminal justice system and the police force. And then the last one, apply the use of culturally competent language, including using language that considers stigma within communities such as well-being rather than mental health.
Wow. So you see, I'm trying to contain myself in the short time that we have. We need to think about making those actions tighter. They're too woolly. Yeah. We had something called race equality cultural competence training. Researched and delivered that organisations could become more competent, but they don't want to. I'm just saying that. I'm serious. I'm very, very serious, because everybody wants to stick to their own interpretation. So we need to understand the gravity of that. That if Black health has to be a standalone, separate issue from health, equality, that tells you what you need to understand. That one size don't fit all.
Yeah.
And the generic approach and the models used will always marginalize us. So it's not the first time we've heard about trauma from racism and discrimination. But the services haven't designed themselves any differently. They still expect you to go to those services in a particular way, and it's one way.
Yeah.
There's no reciprocity in that. So we need to be really, really, really clear. So they're asking something from a system that cannot respond that way. It's not designed to respond that way. That is the issue. So the community alone can't be the one that's just defining their experiences and what their trauma is, because the system has not got an intervention to deal with racialized stresses or the trauma of racism and racists.
Yeah.
It's got no intervention. It doesn't have a language. It doesn't have any models. So that's a redundant ask. So this is where it's inequitable to get the services you need, because the research itself is not including measures for racial stress and impact for improvement. We haven't arrived there in research in Europe. Is that making sense what I'm saying? Because they're using the research as the evidence to fund an intervention.
Yeah.
So if it's not there, then there's an excuse. We don't know what to do. Next. Yeah. And the thing is, we can have the campaigns, and we have had really good campaigns. Time to Change had loads of black people involved who did speak up and did case studies and videos and whatever. But they're still going into a stigmatizing environment that if I'm an educated white person looking for opportunities and I declare I have a mental disorder that I live with, my outcomes are still different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, does that make sense?
Yeah,
so when you start to look at these, so we can empower our communities to have a better diet, because diet
It's key.
is key to your well-being. And a lot of people are not discussing mood and food. Yeah, and well-being. All of a sudden, when your children have got ADHD and running up and down the place, stop giving them sugar and this, that, and the other. Yeah, but you need to stop eating sugar too, because your whole brain now is getting all inflammation in it. But that, as again, mood and food is another topic.
Yeah.
So when you're talking about co-production, you have to remember the system's language is a very different language to the language of the people it intends to serve.
Perfect.
Well, we're going to end it right there. Yes, I love it. I love it. Jeannie, thank you so much. I mean, I wish I could keep you on and we could just stay here, because it's been amazing. It's really, really been good. And because it's such an emotive topic, in our description we'll have useful links for any listeners and viewers to tap into on a cultural level as well, because there's amazing organisations within Lucian
There is.
that people can tap into to get support for themselves or their loved ones. Whew. Sorry. So thank you for tuning in. Yeah, I'm sorry, my brain is still ticking over.
Well, I'll say it then.
Yeah, thank you.
And I hate saying this, but subscribe, the whole rigmarole, share it, because it's an important topic for our community, and we can't keep stigmatizing mental health. So I've enjoyed having you on. We look forward to having you back.
Yes.
And thank you everybody for watching.
Yeah.
Thank you so much indeed. Yeah. Next time I talk about frontal therapy.
Yes.
Too much.
Oh, that was so good. Now, I'm not
perfect.
gonna lie, the amount of tears that I'm holding back in these lashes.
Sorry.
That was perfect. Don't make the next one fall off.
Now listen.
Yeah.
You get back on.
Yes, well, kind of. Right. Oh my
we
God,
need some
Julie,
pictures
thank you.
first.
Yes, Julie wants a photo by herself as well, so do that one first. Do you wanna
Have I still got enough lipstick on,
No,
man?
he said reapply.
Oh, did you hear that? I got sorted out.
No, wow, I'm
I
tired.
was trying
man.
not to touch this. I get very animated. The next minute, the microphone is vibrating.
Next time round, we'll put the microphone
Behind
The
us.
other way.
Okay. Yeah, because
I got in the way of the thing.
No, I didn't. No, it looks very good on camera.
But it kept knocking it.
Kept knocking it, yeah.
Yeah, because it was too near to me, and I've got a lot of energy.
What did I do?
I don't know. Sometimes I don't know because I'm looking at you. Are you speaking to the mic or not? And it's not like you're coming on the mic properly.
Oh.
Can you heighten that, Lord? I was next to it. I didn't move.
Yeah, but remember if you're doing this and it's like it depends on the angle because if it's like that, remember if it's like
So
that,
I was
you
like
know,
this.
Yeah. So
That too far?
I don't know.
yeah, but it's not directing you.
It's not directly. And I'm like,
Okay.
how do I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah.
You should have. Listen, it's casual. I want you to come in a bit. Move the mic, yeah.
Or tell
Like,
tell
drop
me
that, I
to
don't
move
know.
it.
Yeah.
Can we say something like Mike? I don't know, but we'll pick up on the actual recording.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. If you ever need to say it, then just say,
Just say, yeah,
your
signal
mic,
to me.
fix your mic.
Even if you want to come in,
that's
come
no
in.
problem.
Because at one point I thought I'm gonna have to get up to get a tissue. And
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how I was gonna get up.
Or maybe like if I'm speaking, like just focus it on me and then just say like yo,
Yeah.
whatever
Yeah.
or whatever.
Come on then.
Yes, Lily, if you
I
look
want to take a photo,
good.
babe, 'cause my friend, everyone cusses about Android taking pictures, so.
Andre,
So
take
now
that picture
you've
with
been
an iPhone,
introduced
yeah.
to me.
Yes.
Oh, I could have a nap.
You want to have a nap?
I'm gonna go.
Where do you want me to? Oh, you're going to
gonna
take
go.
it
Do
here.
you want me to take these off or do you want.
No, Blashera report. It's good to have it.
I think it's good. It might not.
I'm gonna go gym rather
Glasses?
than nap, but
Yeah. Yeah. I think my green came out very well.
Did.
Good choice of colour. How does my legs look? I want to see the whole of my
Sorry,
business.
Callum, I don't know if you've got enough of you in, but I'm going to be quick. Quick.
I'm coming. We're coming. We're coming. Stop the coming and come. Me titty them the outer door.
Oh my gosh! So I just see my butt in the big thing over there. Yeah, Callum take, yeah, because.
Yeah, he's got a proper
Is it good?
Very good.
Yeah. More.
that's what Regan says when I give him food. More.
Yeah. More.
I'll pass your phone and we do it again.
That's one more. Do you know part of me is really shy?
Really? I wouldn't know that.
No, you done fantastic, man. It's rare with that quiet. So
You didn't need to be in the room.
no, that was just proper, man. It's very, very informative and very engaging as well. I think with people watching that, they're gonna.
You're gonna get enough likes.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it's just it's just engaging, like just to hear someone talk so authoritatively on a topic they're clearly passionate about is refreshing. You know, it's really nice. It's really nice, man. So
Thank
you
you
see,
for having me. In fact, you dared to have me.
no, thank you for coming on, man. That was amazing.
Yeah. Where do you want me to sit?
In the
Give me
middle.
your cameras as well. Or
Yeah.
Are you gonna? Anyway, you lot are gonna post. Send me some of those. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we?
You're
Oh
gonna
yeah,
come
so
in?
let's sit here. No, we take. It's going to be a wide angle, so you can go back to your bit.
Oh, I can be at my ankle here. Innit? Am I up enough?
yeah. Throw that bottle to like behind or no, it's down here. This one.
No.
Oh, sorry, that's my fault.
Okay, so 3,
I've been told I always do this.
I fixed me.
3,
Oh, sorry, that's my arm. Sorry.
2, 1. Just taking those.
All right.
Thank you, honey.
Yeah.
Right.
Ray.
Perfect. Let's go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Cal.
I feel. whew, I got that out of my system. Thank you.
Oh,
You-
perfect. We
Yeah, you're
send
gonna
them straight
send-
to you. Yeah, as soon as
Yeah.
Callum sends them.
Yeah.
Did you know your daughter's coming on?
Yes, you told me. You told me. Akila, oh Lord, when she boom up this place in here, she
We've got Akila and Jamal on the same day. I don't know how we're going to cope, Callum.
But you know
'Cause
what
Jamal's
it is?
gonna have a lot to say
What
himself.
she has gone through, nobody should have gone through that. Nobody's. But out of it, I've got a beautiful relationship. relationship with my daughter and my grandchildren.
There you go.
And
Do
we
you have an
managed-
older daughter?
Yes.
Because Akila posted something the other day and I was like,
My wife.
your wife?
Yeah, my wife. My wife.
I was loving the energy. I was like,
Which
I
one?
don't think I met her. but I
No,
need to
no,
meet
that
her.
was that's the
Latoya.
youngest one. No, the one that
There
No,
was
was.
a post that she put gold big.
No, that
hair.
was
that's the
Nyla.
youngest, sis. That's
That's the
Nyla.
youngest.
The
Yeah.
older one is my wife in America.
She's in America.
Yeah, that's my
No,
wife.
Nyla. Oh my God, this space would be too small
Yeah,
for
Nyla. If you
Nyla.
have
Oh my
Nyla in
God.
there, we get cancelled by within the first 10 minutes.
Listen,
Within the first 10 minutes.
she got the thing, and she knows I don't like it.
Yeah.
What's that?
Down here.
Oh, the tattoos.
Yeah, no,
Oh.
and then all kind of
Listen, I loved it when I was watching the Instagram thing.
She's-
Nyla can chat and she's good,
She
man.
is a
She's
genius.
proper.
You gotta have her on
She's a
there. I'll
genius.
put
She
it
is
there.
a
Genius.
genius. She was on Coffee
She
Saturday,
really is.
and I had phone calls.
Yeah, yeah,
Sure,
no, come on, man. I already
Your
know.
daughter.
Yeah, Jimmy, yeah. Both of them. What's that?
This is your 12 hair.
all of them is power.
Yeah.
Even Ishmael, the way he
Ishmael.
cooks for his babies and feeds them and looks after them. If you ever see it, if Ishmael done a demonstration, I'm telling you, your thing would go viral to
Yeah.
show black young men
cooking.
can.
Yeah.
So what about healthy?
He
you talk
is
about healthy eating?
awesome. He's only
I've
little.
got
like
healthy
this,
eating.
well, he's
Healthy living.
but he's physically
Healthy
small.
behaviours.
Yeah.
But
Healthy
he,
behaviours.
Yeah.
a lot of the time we don't promote the positives that we can do
Yeah.
and show examples.
Yeah.
And I said to him, everybody will back you.
Yeah, of course.
You want to see how we cook the food, the pumpkin and the sweet potato, and mash it up and give them none of that jar stuff. And you want to see how them children stay.
Yeah.
And can't afford full-time childcare, I'll be home those 2 days.
Yeah.
And he has to work some long hours.
That's
Yeah.
one thing you talk about because my
Thanks.
you're not recording no more, are you?
No.
You sure?
My grandma, my mum is not grandma anymore. I swear, the grandmas that we grew up with, my kids don't have that.
Yeah,
My mum's
yeah,
like, I'm
yeah.
busy. What do you mean I'm going to LA next week? I'm
I
like,
know,
what?
I know. Yeah.
The
Can
childcare.
I have a picture, please? And then we're going for the door now, Callum. We're coming.
Definitely.
I like the yellow. And make sure I look good, you know. So
Why are you
just
sitting in
talk
the
to me.
seat? Callum, what?
I think I wanted the
Why are you sitting in
upright
seat?
one.
Sorry, hold on. Let's take this out.
Oh God, thank you.
What was that?
I do one here. Yeah, the yellow seat might work actually.
Sorry, this is a mess now, sorry.
Yeah. How will I look in the chair? Never on the green, you know. Red, gold, and green. Yes. How do I look? Yeah. Good. Let me come up
Yeah.
down the court. I'm coming, Callum. I'm coming.
Every guest gets a pre-warning from you.
Oh, that looks lovely. Did you do one too? You're sneaky, you know. Make sure you don't send them and tell people story, you know. I had one guy like that. He loved me.